Hello, everyone, and thanks for giving us a listen. If you'd like to show our support, please check out our Patreon and Linktree under Interactive Distractions for access to additional Day 1 content, as well as to be part of our awesome community. Thanks again, and we hope you continue to be distracted.
Hello and welcome to Interactive Distractions, episode number 438. My name is Christopher Riccio, and I am here with Travis Baum.
Hello.
Jason A. Stryker.
Hi, I'm Jason.
And Jeff Twarney.
What up?
And we have some very big conversations to have today, so we're going to jump right into what's going on and probably get through that relatively quick. So let's start with Jeff. Jeff, what's up?
Not much, man. Been a busy couple weeks. Summer's winding down. So pretty much every weekend it's going on. Work. I don't want to bore people with work stuff.
Well, is work going well? Okay, good. That's what I needed to know. You're
Yeah.
back at work. Work is going well.
I've been back at work for a while. Work's blah, whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm satisfied with that. I just want to know
He
that's
doesn't
going
want to
well.
rub it in. I get it. That's fine. He's got a job.
Work talk's boring. Yeah, I know. Look at me. Yay. No, nothing exciting here, man. It's been a fun couple weeks since last time we recorded, but nothing really jumps out to be like, hey, I need to talk about this. So I'm good.
All right, cool. Jason.
Well, I have some kind of big news.
Okay.
We
like big news. What do you got?
We have a
What
new
do you got
member
about
of
the
family.
cabinet behind you?
Oh
shit.
Yeah, just a few days ago, I got this controller. It's called the Stellar Shift. It's got a little blue, little purple.
Okay.
And what really sold me on this was the purple swirl, the texturized rubber grips.
It's a little grippy. Yeah. Okay. I like that.
This makes number 10 to the family. We're growing.
Wow.
Is that a licensed Microsoft controller, is that a third party? Okay.
It's licensed, baby. I got it for sale for like $50. It was like $20
for you audio only folks. This is a sexy controller. I like it.
And Jason is treating it like a sexy controller. He's definitely feeling it up quite a bit.
It's in his mouth.
It's affectionate. Okay, it's not weird like that.
He's got the analogs going in places you don't want to see analogs go.
And I got the
vibrations on high, right?
I got the silicone nubs in there too.
For your pleasure.
Make a clicky sound doing it. Oh jeez.
We just went too far with that joke. Okay.
Yep. Anyway, that's what's new in my life.
I think it's funny when it's like I got this on sale. It's a great deal for $50. Like, remember controllers were like
that's
$20.
Where we were. Yeah, they were like $20. Oh man. Travis, how are you, man?
Doing well. Let's see what's new. I got a new microphone. Do I sound better?
I think so.
I should. Yeah.
I think you sound about the same, to be honest with you. But that's not bad.
Well,
you sounded good
there won't
before.
be any clipping. That's
you needed some positive reinforcement on his purchase, Chris. You sound awesome, dude.
Way to go, man.
I apologize for my honesty. I just,
Yeah, so I thank Jason for this. He had a spare lying around, and yeah, why not? What else is going on? Let's see. I started 2 video projects for Indus this week.
Nice.
Okay.
Started blocking out the second Games That Made Us. So I'm kind of pumped about that. That's going to be a really good one. Spoiler alert, I'm going to do Tecmo Bowl. How about that?
Oh boy.
Okay.
It's the season too. Yeah.
It is the season. It is. And speaking of, football season started. Our fantasy league kicked off today. About an hour and a half ago. So I'm pumped about that. Let the stress begin.
Some of us might have the game on. Excuse me.
I have the game on as well.
Podcasting, folks.
I'm sorry. Look, dude, my other league, I've got Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so I want to see what's happening.
Yeah. So that's pretty much. Oh, the second video I have going on. I don't want to talk about specifically what that one is, but it is going to be the teaser for it. It's going to require some crowdsourcing. So there will come a point, listeners, viewers, that I may contact you. I may hit up your DMs. And ask you for a favor. And when I ask you for that favor, the answer is yes, you do that thing.
Cool.
Because it's going to make
Will
for a
do.
really cool video. I think it's going to kind of drill to the heart of why we love gaming. And that's kind of what's going on right now, because still doing the job search thing. And other than that, I think we're good. And before I pass it on to Chris, I want to say one thing, all seriousness, to my wife, Melissa Johnson.
Who's listening right now?
Han, I am sorry.
Oh,
This game season
Oh,
just
no.
got
Oh.
crazy. And I know I have cordoned you off upstairs to watch Downton Abbey. I hope you're enjoying it. I've seen the whole series. It's lovely, so I hope you enjoy it. But I'm going to need more time. You're going to need more television shows to pick up and watch,
Well,
because it has just started. I haven't even scratched the surface of Baldur's Gate. I'm still in the Starfield. I apologize ahead
you
of
know
time,
there
because
is a
it's
sexy
not going to get better.
controller you can send her.
There is
That
a
is-
sexy controller. Yeah. Yeah. It's ribbed
Stellar
for her
shift.
ergonomic
Yeah.
pleasure.
if you need
I'm
the
sure there's
nubs,
an audience for
I
that.
know a guy.
Yeah.
Jason knows the guy with the nubs.
Does anybody else here want to apologize to their wives, since we're on the subject for all these games that we're playing? Anybody?
Absolutely. Yeah. I spend a majority of my time up in my room because I still have a wound on my foot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
so I stay in the office pretty much with my foot up, and it's been that way for 3 years or something like
Oof.
that. I get different wounds.
That's a long time.
No,
A
it's
3-year wound?
No, it's been different wounds on the same foot. So I've
Oh,
been in
okay,
a
gotcha.
medical surgical boot for probably the last 2 to 3 years.
Oh,
Honestly,
wow. Okay.
it's ridiculous. But yeah, she takes care of me very well and lets me play games whenever I want. But even though I feel guilty and don't play them sometimes.
I feel so guilty, man. I really do. But it's
Yeah.
like, if I give myself like 3 or 4 days, like the countdown clock of the next release is hitting over
Yep.
and over and over again. So it's nuts,
So,
man.
so I'll do one.
Mhm.
To my wife, Crystal, I am sorry that I cannot keep up with you in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I am sorry that you're almost caught up with me on your second playthrough.
Jeez.
And yeah, I don't have that problem, man. She's completely addicted to this game, man.
How are the kids? Do you
Yeah,
guys even
kids are
know?
great. Kids are great. Kids are in school, so
There you go.
whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
I will say this. Today my son auditioned for a part in the middle school theater club.
Oh,
So
rad.
in the
Okay.
drama club.
Cool.
So
Good for him.
he's getting back into that. I guess Travis, were you done? We can just go move to me then. when you're
I'm
done?
pretty much done. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but yeah, he started doing that. So and there was a parent conference today, so I went to that and got a hold of exactly what's happening. My daughter's doing it too, so both of them are doing it.
Neat.
Awesome.
But she's not going to play a part. She wants to do some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Little
So
production.
she wants to do production, lighting, sound, things like that. And she got really excited today because I told her, like, on the practice days where I have to bring my son in to practice lines, she has to go whether or not he's going he's there or not, because like the lighting and the sound and like the production people are there for every practice, whereas the actors are only there for the practice where they're going over their section of the script.
Yep.
It's called rehearsal, Chris.
Yes, they have it, whatever. But she got really excited because she's like, she got excited because one of the things I told her is that when Liam isn't required to rehearse, that he can still go and support my daughter while she's there, because my daughter has anxiety and all these other things, and it just helps to have him around. And I'm like, oh yeah, like they're like, if you go in, they're gonna have you painting sets and stuff like that. And my daughter's eyes like lit up at the idea of painting sets.
Yeah.
She's like, do I get to paint sets? I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get to paint sets. You're gonna get to do maybe some lighting and sounds kind of stuff. And she got really, really excited.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's actually that could be a start of a great opportunity for her if she really starts digging that craft. Georgia is a hotbed for film and television production now, so like that could give her a shoe into a great career. So I love that for her, and not just that point, but also, I mean, I did theater from grade 5 to college, so it was probably the best decision I made in my my formative years. So Yeah, I love that for Liam as well. I think that's a good move.
And
That's great for them.
they're also very involved in a local place called Georgia Ensemble Theater, so we bring them there
nice.
pretty often. So they're certainly not, they're certainly not new to this. So I'm excited that they're going to get to do it. Like I really wanted them to do something at the school that was extracurricular. Alora is doing orchestra as well, so she's going to be doing learning to play viola, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, so that like that's all been today. Like we had he has his audition this morning, and then we got the schedule of when all the club meetings and all the rehearsals are going to be. So yeah, it's exciting. Other than that, like I not much more to talk about. One of my tabletops, my tabletop sessions finished after 3 years. Like we wrapped it up after 3 years.
Damn.
Yeah, it was something that we did monthly. Like we get together monthly and play through. And it was a game. It was called Starfinder. So just think of D&D in space.
You guys found the star. Nice.
Yes, we found the star. So after that wrapped up, we still got together this month for what we usually do. We're not starting anything new yet, but we started playing a game called Shadows of Brimstone, which is a really cool board game that's very it's dynamic. Like everything is pretty it's a dungeon crawler where the map is kind of dynamic on how it lays out based on what cards you draw and stuff like that. And it's set in like the Old West, where they're mining like this extraterrestrial element. And when you go into the mine, you can find and you can find like portals to other lands and shit like that. And it was pretty fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. So let's start talking about games, and I think we're just going to start with Starfield, because I know that you guys have been playing the crap out of that, right?
I played a little bit, yeah.
Some of you have. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say. So I'm going to pass it off to, I don't know, pick someone. Who wants to start the conversation?
I'll jump in with it.
Go for it.
So overall, it's fantastic. It really is, and it's one of the it's a weird situation for me, because I am loving every minute that I play of this game, like up to this point. And it took a while to get there, and I'll touch on that later on throughout the conversation. But I've never loved a game so much, but yet wished it was so much more at the same time, because there is like so much of this game feels carbon copy like a previous generation game. Like not much has changed in the general Fallout format. And crazy enough, as much as I'm enjoying it, it seems like it doesn't need to change that much. But there are just limitations to this engine. There are limitations to lighting, limitations to performance. And I think that I want more from Bethesda, because I believe that they have the potential to do more. So I still feel that way. I was really feeling that way in like the first 10 hours or so in that game, because it was a slow build for me, lots of frustration, a couple of rage quits actually.
Oh shit.
But overall, now that I'm wait for it, like about 60 hours into the game now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I've played a little.
Played a little bit. It's fantastic. So far, every major side quest, not the normal side quest, but the major side quest, like your Thieves Guild stuff,
like faction type stuff.
Yeah, the faction missions have all been top notch. The best that Bethesda has done. And you can kind of tell where they're going at with certain factions, because obviously there's no Thieves Guild in here, but you can tell which faction is the Thieves Guild mission. You can tell which faction is like the evil, the Dark Brotherhood missions and stuff. So you can kind of see the parallels there. But I'm slowly but surely plugging away through it, but just that awesome Bethesda gameplay path of just like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's this? Oh, no, focus on the main story. No, keep on. Like that's all there in every
the
single
ADHD game is 100% still there.
Well, okay, so my ADHD with like Fallout and Skyrim was the fucking compass at the top. Is that still there where like something pops up on the compass
No.
where you have to
No,
that would actually take away some of it for me.
That brings up a big gripe. I think is pretty universal across the board is that there is no map.
That's weird.
Yeah, there's no map anywhere. There's no local maps. Like, of course, you have like the galaxy map, but it doesn't operate in the traditional sense like a map would. But I'm okay with it now. Like you have to earn your time with it to kind of learn everywhere. And looking back in retrospect, I found that it kind of helped me with the immersion and the role play, not having the map. So I didn't like it at first, but now that I'm comfortable in many places, I actually I'm okay with it. I'm not going to say it's great.
To clarify something, sorry to interrupt, but Chris, there is a map in the sense of there are markers where you should go, and like if you have a mission, there are markers for those missions. There's just no map, like a detailed map of showing you like where vendors are or like this is where you go for this. There's like in it, like Travis said, in traditional sense, there is no map, but there is guidance, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not like you're sitting there and you're like, just go. It's not like that.
Yeah, but it does help incorporate learning your surroundings, and this is one of the and over time, I kind of learned to really enjoy that. So yeah. I mean, that's just kind of like my overall thoughts on it. I just finished up in an amazing. I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the most amazing. Kind of like going undercover type of faction mission, and it blew me away. That could be
what I'm doing. Is it the Ryujin line?
So I did Ryujin. Ryujin's great.
Okay, that's what I'm doing right now.
This kind of ended up being the quest that I just finished. It starts off like the Dark Brotherhood. Like you have to accumulate some bounties, even if it's like a measly mistake, like you stole a notepad from someone's. Like you'll get like 70 credits, a 70 credit bounty, and then that kind of like set me up eventually, and it was a total surprise, like an absolute surprise. Like, holy crap, nope, you're coming with us, we need to have a talk. It was really cool, and then it from start to finish, and it was a long chain of missions as well, but every single mission was great. They utilized skills a lot better, which I think this game does eons better than any other Bethesda game. Like regardless of what skills that you're choosing to be proficient in, those options pop up for you so much more than in previous Fallout games. It's not doing anything new. It's just doing it more and rewarding you for your choices. I like that.
And leveling them up is different. It's kind of like a hybrid of like what Skyrim and Oblivion did, where practicing more of what you're doing is how you level them up, but you can also open up totally different skills options with your level up points and then do those things. Like there's challenges for every time you want to level it up. So it's kind of like you're never kind of screwed out of like doing something that you accidentally put like work into kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to explain. It's a lot more, I guess comes to the character naturally by doing the things and also what you want to spec into.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be way too like overwhelming, but when I saw the skill trees, I'm like, okay, no, this makes sense.
So who else has really jumped into enough of the game to where you can kind of like talk about like an overview of your thoughts?
Oh, I'm at 18 hours now.
Okay.
I think somewhere around there. If we would have recorded when we meant to, because we were going to do it last Saturday because I was getting the early access one and I wanted to put in enough time to kind of give some kind of an opinion. Then something came up. Actually, that's what one of the things we did. Tanya had one of her photos. Oh my God! How come I can't freaking speak properly?
At a gallery.
At a gallery, like one of her photos,
which is awesome, by the way. How cool is that?
It was total kick-ass.
Yeah, way to go, T. That's really cool.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, so it was like the first time that's happened where they picked like the top 25 or something, and one of hers was picked, and it was like this. It's a small little film store slash development lab type place. You know, it's kind of like it's typical, like like a film. I don't know if you guys have been to like a film studio type thing, but it was a kind of a small room area there, but they had all the photos on the wall, and it was awesome to see it on there. And of course, she was so happy. And they did. She knew this was going to happen, and it's there for a month. And we were gonna go. It just wasn't gonna be. Sorry, my cat's gonna be walking across here. We were gonna go maybe like a week after or something, but they were doing for the first night only. They were doing like a projection style thing where they put it through like those slides and projectors, like the old school like we probably know, we're old enough to know those things that our parents probably had, those slide show type things, like real ones, not PowerPoint. So that was only happening the one night. So that's we decided, okay, well, we got to do it tonight. Then we can't wait like a week. So I wasn't able to put that much time in, so it got pushed. If we were to have recorded on Saturday night, I probably wouldn't think too highly of it. Not because I didn't think the game was good. It just wasn't grabbing me yet, and I kept going back to like DOS 2. But it didn't take me too long. I'd say around hour 6, 7. That's when it really started to pick up for me, and I was like, okay, I get what they're going at. At first, I had these little quips too, like the map thing was weird. People made a big thing about like you fast travel a lot, but realistically, if you couldn't fast travel, the game would be boring as hell. Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, here you're gonna fly to this planet that's gonna take half an hour to get to. It's like so. And I'm the type of person in all these games, Bethesda games, I like to do the way you're supposed to traverse, the way the game kind of wants you to at first. So like in Oblivion, I was on my horse or walking everywhere. Skyrim, same thing. And Red Dead on my horse. And after a while, it just turns into fast travel anyway, because you open up so much crap. You're just like, I'm just going to fast travel. I'm going to get there as fast as possible. I still like going to my ship and watching it take off and land every time. That hasn't gotten old yet. I still think that's awesome, and it looks amazing. The game does look good. It's definitely Bethesda's best looking game when it's their best looking game.
When it's their best looking game, okay.
Yeah.
That's been
some parts of it are not. It's still kind of.
That's been really inconsistent for me, to be honest with you. Like when you're indoors and you're really in this like atmospheric, not really well lit corridor area of these like, space stations and ships and whatnot, I think the game looks its best. But when you're in these marquee areas, like, when you're in Jemison at New Atlantis, which is for all intents and purposes like the biggest, like the central hub city of the galaxy, basically. Yeah, the Citadel. Yeah, exactly. I think the game, like stylistically, I think it looks great, but
I think it looks
performance
like
wise,
but whatever.
I think
it looks like a PS5, but whatever.
It does look like a PS5, yeah. The mass tower, yeah. But I think the game for a current generation game looks terrible. And I know they made concessions. I
think that's hyperbole to say terrible.
I think it's bad. So what makes or breaks a game for me? Like you can have like a stylistic look. I don't need things to be photorealistic and everything. I don't need that. But like I wish I would have taken a picture of it, but there was a situation where I was just walking around New Atlantis? Yeah. And I was looking around and I noticed that like, what is off? Like, what is weird here? What is going on here? The shadows were non-existent, like buildings and trees, they would cast shadows, but I would look and there was no ambient occlusion, no lighting. Obviously there's no ray tracing here, but for a game that has like no performance mode option, it's just 30 frames per second. I expect the lighting in a game to be really, really good, and it's not very good in certain areas. And in New Atlantis, which is a marquee,
I think that's the worst looking city.
Like look at the ground. Look at the ground. Like no NPC casts a shadow whatsoever, and it completely takes me out of it. Like in terms of visual.
You cast a shadow in third person though, so I think they do. have to check that out because you definitely cast a shadow in third person for sure.
It's bad. Like there are no shadows hitting their faces or anything. Like, and I'm talking about these are like the random NPCs that are walking the streets and whatnot. And
oh yeah,
and you
those
know,
might be terrible.
and it's not like I can just fast travel to the next place. Like once you're in the city, to go to point A to point B, like there's some like districts you can fast travel to, but for the most part, you have to manually walk places once you're in the district you need to be. And every time I'm into Atlantis, I'm like, how can this look so bad? Like, how can the lighting be so
Here's the thing:
bad
on the
here?
opposite end of the spectrum, you go to Aquila, and that city
And it looks great.
extremely deep. That's what I'm saying. Saying it looks
great.
terrible, I think, is a hyperbole. When it looks bad, it does look bad. But when it looks good, it looks really good. Like some of the vistas, and I think some of the lighting, like in Aquila and Neon, look fantastic.
Go to random planets, lighting looks good. Like there was just something weird about New Atlantis, and I don't know if it's something that's going to be addressed.
New
in the
Atlantis
patch.
looks bad. It looks flat. It looks really flat.
Exactly. Very, very flat. Yeah. Very flat.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't say it looks terrible. I think it looks it doesn't look next gen, no. Well, you're wrong. But it's it's I don't know how you can say Aquila looks really, really good and say Atlantis looks thing and then say overall
because the lighting is really terrible in New Atlantis and the lighting is really good pretty much everywhere else in the game. How is that hyperbole?
So let me rewind it back a second, Travis. I said, how can you say it looks really good in these areas, but I'm saying overall the game is hyperbole saying the game looks terrible. I never said the game looks like crap.
I never said the game looks terrible.
You didn't say that?
I started off saying the game looked great in indoor corridors and stuff like that. The lighting was top notch.
Okay. Yeah. If that's what you said, then my bad.
If you didn't like me saying that, you're not going to like what you're going to hate what I have to say next.
No, I don't really care about the visuals. I think look great. But there is a trade-off though, I think, because that engine they will not let go of. And I think I know why. It's because that game does with physics and
it's good
memory on objects that no other game does. And this thing has every single star and planet has its actual orbit that is running in real time, and that is crazy. But the thing is, it doesn't really affect gameplay, so I guess a lot of people are just kind of like, not a big deal, and I guess it's not. But that's the kind of stuff they sacrifice. Which is that a good idea? I don't know.
I'm going to touch on something like how in depth they get with this game because Jeff, you mentioned time. I didn't realize this until today, like 60 plus hours into it, but like time works differently depending on what planet you're on. So like there are two sets of time. Every galaxy has two different sets of time. There is universal time, UT, which is like basically like the time in like I'm assuming it's a time in New Atlantis. Like that's like and they call it universal time. But since planet rotation is different in like, based on the tilting of the axis, like a day is slower or faster for each planet and each galaxy. Each individual galaxy has its own time. So there are some galaxies where you can like sit on a chair and wait because sometimes you want to wait and like get your health back or rest.
Get that bonus.
Sometimes like 5 hours of universal time will translate into like 25 hours of that planet's time because time works differently and it's different for every single galaxy. And I'm like, how did you figure this out? Like, how did you come up with this? Because that is insane. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've only noticed that while doing the rest thing. I'm like, what does it mean where it's like rest for 5 hours and UTE is 10 hours? I'm like, what? Yeah. What is this different everywhere?
Yeah. And it just goes to show how much care is in, and I could sit here and complain about how I wish like they would kind of like upgrade their systems a little bit, but they did add so much cool stuff. You have this cool time thing. They've really, really upped the different guns and ammunition there because it's so varied and there's so many different planets and so many different worlds. You have to understand, you have to think to yourself, there would be so many different types of weaponry versus a game like Fallout where you're working in one region, so you're going to have one set of weapons that's going to be equal for everyone. But one end of the galaxy is going to have way different weaponry than New Atlantis has. So that's in there. And then you have the dog fighting and you have the base building and you can produce like, and make a whole bunch of money by just like mining iron and aluminum.
I haven't
It's
even
just
touched
so
any of that
much. I
mining
haven't
stuff.
touched it either. But there is just so much there, and it's not. I watched some videos on YouTube about some in-depth looks because I wanted to see what it took to start outposts or start creating shipping lanes between your outposts, and is the juice worth the squeeze? Do I want to do this? And you can dedicate 100% of your time into basically being a mining magnate and just run the clock with just millions of credits, tons of experience. You can level up.
Nah.
There's no level cap, but you can level up to 100 just mining. It's insane. It is absolutely insane. And they built it on purpose. So if you want to be a pirate, if you want to be a miner, if you want to play it like a standard Bethesda game and just stealth and snipe your way through it, you can do it so many different ways. So as much as I can complain about the system feels old, gameplay wise, still feels like a classic, PS4 or even a 360 game, it doesn't really matter because there is so much here and it's almost all good. It's almost all good.
If I didn't play Divinity, and I'm sure Baldur's Gate's the same way, the one big standout for me is just the way to complete certain missions and quests. Because I went into that game thinking it's gonna be very ABC for the quests, and yeah, Starfield has that Bethesda thing of like it'll give you a couple options. But I always thought like the region. The gist of it is you're going undercover for a corporation. And I thought the first time I'd go to the other rival's corporation, it would give me an option to be like, yo, this is what's going down. Maybe you can make me a better, that kind of thing. That option's like, it's not there, at least where I'm at. And I was kind of like, that's kind of what I want to role play based on. Because in something like Divinity or Baldur's Gate, I feel like those have so many options where almost if you can think of it, it's like the character's going to know that. The character's really give you the option to say what you probably would say and vice versa. But again, that's kind of like that's not like every game has that. Like that's just Larian, it seems, or maybe some other CRPGs kind of have that to that depth. But
I will say I jumped into Baldur's Gate for a short amount of time and was just blown away by how communicating with not just your party, but just any NPC in the world, and how well made the conversations are, how well written, how expressive the characters are, and it's really, really great. Now, don't get me wrong. This is the best looking conversation system that we have seen Bethesda create so far. It's a huge improvement from their past games, but it's still very, very, very robotic. And I I feel like I almost did myself a disservice jumping over to Baldur's Gate and just being teased at how good that is. That like it just I want that to be better. If I could pick one thing that Bethesda could have kind of brought to the next generation using this engine, it would have been way better cutscenes, way better facial animations. It's better than ever before, but it's still missing the mark when so many games. Yeah, when so many games do it infinitely better. I'm with you, Jeff. Like, I feel like if we recorded last week, I would have been mostly negative on this game. I struggled in the first 8 to 10 hours. I found myself save scumming just to survive like random dungeons or random missions that were just filled to the brim with enemies, and I just wasn't prepared for it, and I was just getting more mad. The inventory system, which we haven't really touched on, like I'm used to it, but I couldn't explain to you how it works. Like I couldn't if someone needed help and I wasn't looking at it. Yeah, it's so convoluted. Like fast travel, like there's so many different. I feel like there are like 3 or 4 different ways to fast travel. Like you can fast travel,
sub menus on menus and stuff. And
I just discovered that you can you don't have to go into a menu. You can fast travel like from space by pulling up your you hit the left bumper on controller to pull up like your scanner for when like you're just like scanning for minerals and stuff, and you can fast travel through there if you wanted to. And I was like, oh, I don't have to go into my menus.
Anything that's in that area, yeah.
But it doesn't work for everything. If you're on foot, you have to go the old method. So it's like, it's so back and forth with how you do things. And I couldn't explain it.
You can do it on foot. You just can't do it in dungeons or like indoor areas.
Right. Yeah.
So like if you're on a planet surface, yeah, you can do that. You're inside of a dungeon, you got to walk all the way back.
Yeah.
It's
inventory's a mess. I'm used to it now, but at first it was part of my 10-hour struggle in the beginning. They added a quality of life thing, which I love, but it's going to lead to another gripe of mine. So I discovered that if you're over encumbered, which encumbrance should just go the fuck away from video games forever.
Here. Yes.
Just go away. But this is why I'm confused why they didn't just get rid of encumbrance anyway, because now they added the function. Even if you're in the middle of a city or in the middle of a mission and you're over encumbered, you can go into your menu, and your menu is broken up by like what planet you're on, your inventory, your skills, and then your ship. If you go in, and it bothers me to no end because they do not explain this whatsoever in any tutorial or no missions. Sometimes they use missions to act as tutorials for you. But nothing has shown me the way to do this until I just like found it online. But even if you're over encumbered anywhere, and I think there is a limit. If you're super over encumbered, you can't do this, but you go into your ship section of your menu and you can hit the X button on the controller and it'll bring up your ship's cargo, and you can just throw your stuff in your ship's cargo when you're not even on your ship. And at that point, I was going into my ship so I can access my cargo, and I didn't realize that you could just do it anywhere. So
you have to be within 250 meters to do that.
You have to be within 250
meters of your ship to be able to do that.
Of the ship, you
can't do it if you're further out than that.
I was at the spaceport. I just wasn't near the ship.
Near the ship, yeah.
Oh, okay. I felt like there were a couple of times I was pretty far from the ship and I was still able to do it, but I guess like the way the dungeons are set up, I was kind of I guess I was close to the airlock.
Underneath it or something.
Yeah, I could have. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense then. So yeah, 250 meters, that makes sense. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, just I can't speak high enough on how amazing just the story has been. The main story, which we haven't even touched on, I think is fantastic. I hit a point where major decisions have to be made, and the outcome is just devastating. I wanted to save Scummit, but I was like, no, I want to own up to it. I want to stick with it because this was a decision I made. But it is just keeping me going. Like, I love the main storyline, and then when I get sidetracked to a side mission, I'm in love with that side mission or the faction mission. It's just, the writing is so well done.
The gameplay loop,
really enjoying it.
Good. The combat's
it's
definitely
great.
better. Not amazing. It's not a third-person shooter or first-person shooter like level good, but it's good enough.
Combat got better for me when, like, the first 10 hours, I was praying for VATS to come back.
Oh, yeah.
But
I was going to ask
ones
you
are
about the
terrible
combat. So, like, what is it then? Is it straight up first person shooter then?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you can play in third person, which I think this is the best Bethesda game to play in third person. Like, it actually, for the first time ever, it feels like a genuine way to play if you wanted to.
I did it for a little while.
Feels good.
I did it for like one combat encounter, and it felt pretty good. It's
like not bad.
Like a decent third-person shooter at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
The guns feel all right. Some of the later ones. If I have one word of advice, though, is I can't recommend enough is for someone who's starting, play the story missions up until you finish the mission into the unknown, and then 100%. Spread out. Just because, I think a lot of people, it changes something about the game, and it just gives you more options, and it's cool. It's really cool.
I need to. I have two of those things, and I need to get more because the first one you get is awesome. Like it's. I don't want to spoil it. It's completely different than what Bethesda's done in the past, and I love it so far. I use it way more than I thought I was going to. So, and you want to talk about utilizing the physics engine? That first power, fuck! I just.
I was gonna,
I might. Yeah, I might want to bleep that. No, but yeah,
It's in the trailer, whatever.
Yeah, it actually it is. Yeah, so I feel better about that. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's phenomenal so far. I don't want to talk any more about it because my jaw is getting tired.
It's good so far.
It's
I don't
great.
know. It's
I like
it's my opinion of it's going up and up the more I play it, and it definitely has me more than Fallout 4 ever did.
For sure.
But I wasn't a big Fallout 4 fan, so
sure.
Yeah, I'm liking it so far.
I ran into
Jason.
a bug the first second that I was able to move my character. The first second, I was unable to use my right stick. I couldn't look around, and I thought my new Stellar Shift controller was broken.
How were you working them nubs, man? Like, were you...
I thought that seriously, I thought that was it, but no, it was I don't know. I had to move my mouse first, and that moved my head, and then I could use my right stick. I don't know.
Oh, interesting. That's weird.
This has been a weird anecdote, but yeah, I ran into a bug immediately upon playing this game.
It's been a pretty bug-free experience. I mean, there's the fun Bethesda jank is there. Like you'll walk around a corner and someone's like standing on the roof or something weird like that. Like that's all there. Like,
good.
But it's all part of that. It's all part of the Bethesda experience. I've had maybe 2 hard crash to menus in 65 hours. So for a game this intensive on a system, I think that's pretty good. And the game autosaves enough to where you're not going to lose that much. You're not going to lose that much progress anyway. So, yeah.
It's that standard bug type stuff. Nothing that really, no more or no less than any other release this year or this generation.
I do think one of my skills are bugged. So Jeff touched on it before. When you go into your skill system, your skill menu, and you level up something, if you had 2 levels, you can't put 2 points into that level immediately. You have to put a level in that point, and then a challenge comes up. So like if it's for pistols, like you want to make your pistols stronger, you level up in pistols, and then a challenge pops up: kill 10 enemies with pistols. You got to go kill 10 enemies, and then you can put in that second point there. So I'm doing the one I want a little bit more quality of life with my running. So I'm giving myself the skill that gives you more oxygen, more stamina to run. And the first challenge is like basically do something that uses all your oxygen 20 times, and you have to like pretty much run out of oxygen 20 times. And I'll run out of oxygen, stop running. I don't get a point for the challenge. I was like, oh, maybe I need to be in combat. So I run, doesn't work. And it doesn't specify combat. If it's a combat specific one, the challenge specifies, hey, you need to kill these guys, or you need to do 20 boost jumps while in combat. Like it's all there. It will not increase the challenge. So I think that might be an actual
the one you're doing is
bug.
the one that's based on whatever you're carrying as well.
No,
because it has to be a certain percentage. No, okay.
I think that's the grab jump.
I have that
one.
too. I think
that's for the grab jump to give you more weight in your ship.
No. Mine's like it's one of the challenges is you have to run a certain distance, but your weight capacity has to be
75%
at a certain percentage. So if you're not in that percentage, you don't get the point. I'm wondering if that's the same one that I have.
It doesn't specify it, but that gives me another. That gives me another thing.
Clear. It'll say that. So if it doesn't say that, then it's probably not the same one.
Yeah, I think it might be bugged. So if we're talking bugs, I think that might be one that could be. And I would say that's significant because running around town is a pain in the ass. Because you have to stop and you have to catch your breath and then go.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
A lot of other games.
Is there not like a jog?
Do that? No, there is.
Okay, so there's sprint and jog, and you just is jogging that much slower that you just can't
sprint pretty fast. You sprint pretty fast. Yeah.
Like a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. It's the same type of deal. You have like a stamina wheel, but it's just it's called oxygen. It's stamina. It's like what a lot of RPGs kind of do. They kind of limit you, but it's just annoying because the distance, especially if you're doing something on the planet's surface, something could be like 1,000 meters away, and you're just like, ugh. It's just kind of like annoying in that way. Oh, sorry. One more thing too. If you have to do stealth in any capacity, don't bring a companion. Tell them to wait at the door or tell them to wait somewhere.
100%.
No matter how good you respect in stealth or what you have with stealth,
They'll
give
fuck it
you
up.
away 11 out of 10 times. Oh yeah. Like people rag on Last of Us because Ellie would be like
running
invisible
right
to
in front.
enemies.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah, there's a reason for that,
100%
though.
take that. Yes. I
There's
would
a reason for that,
100%
though.
take that over
And
the other opposite.
That is 100% true in Baldur's Gate as well. Just so you both know, once you jump into it, like if you need to sneak somewhere, you take one character and you sneak. They break up the party.
Sure. Yeah, break it up. Yeah,
because it gets really bad.
The OS
traps
for sure.
too, like when you're trying to disarm traps or something like that, just leave them over there because you'll go up and you'll get ready. You'll go up and press the button to disarm.
What you doing?
And they'll just walk by and blow yourself up, blow your shit up. Like it's just, God damn it, man, get out of here.
I did have this great moment. This will be the very last thing I have to say about Starfield. So you level up companions the same way you've always leveled up. Like once they like a certain amount of things that you do or say, they stop you for a conversation and you build upon your conversation and rinse and repeat until you can start flirting and then you can get down and dirty. So I have been working on Andrea, I think is her name. She's been my the person I've been courting throughout the game, and pretty much got up to the end of our storyline, and we worked the last mission for that mission that I was like, oh my God, this was amazing. It had such a great finale. Her and I were kind of like going in guns blazing together. And it was just kind of like this Hollywood action movie moment where like the hero and the heroine are there and like they're kicking ass and then they get into their confined spaces. And then the relationship just like comes to a culmination of just like fierce passion that happened. Like after the mission was done, we got back on the ship. She said, I have to talk to you. And I completed the romance. And it was just like, yeah, what an amazing way to like organically finish this, like, and just kind of us like solidify being together right after this like high stakes, super violent, like super cinematic ending to a faction chain. It was just such a great, and that was one of the last things that happened to me before we got on. So it was just like I'm coming off playing today on a huge high. It's not going to play out like that for everyone too. So it's just something that happened for me, and it's just it was just a great experience. I love it.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Cool.
So what I'm hearing is I should stick this out. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like Bethesda games, that's like, did you like Skyrim or Fallout?
No, I didn't like Skyrim. I liked Fallout 3 an awful lot. New Vegas, Fallout 4, I didn't care for at all. Same thing with 76. But I can get into a Bethesda game, I guess, but it's tough. I have very little interest in Starfield, to be honest.
I had hardly any until like 2 weeks before, or like a month before.
Why
Jason,
is that?
I think you're in the same boat I am. Like, let's finish up Baldur's Gate first, and then jump into Starfield and see if it grabs you. My biggest concern is that I feel like while these games may not be similar in how they play from a gameplay perspective, like the concept of going into dungeons and dealing with factions and having like, there's a lot of similar tropes there, and I'm worried that I'm going to be exhausted from Baldur's Gate.
It's a lot, man.
So yeah, Baldur's Gate is a fucking lot. It really is. And then I know that Starfield is going to be a lot too. And
that's kind of what turns me off about Bethesda games. I think it's the immersive sim aspect of it. Like, you know, the things like encumbrance, you know, just for an example, you know,
it's bad.
And when they, you know, have every little thing have value in that game, and you can pick it up. You know, you can pick up that ashtray, you can pick up that potato.
You just got to stop yourself.
It's hard to do, you know. But it's
another one of the tropes that's similar between the two games.
It's just one of the things that makes me go like, I don't know if I want to deal with this. I don't know. We'll see.
Again, and that's the key, because Baldur's Gate does it too. It has encumbrance, and it has, you know, everything has a value, and you know, you pick up a random, you know, bottle that has nothing in it and it's worth a gold piece. You know, it's like, you know, it's that kind of shit.
That shit all, no, I'm not going to deal with that. But I mean, that's just one example of, you know, things that not necessarily bug me about Bethesda games, but like, I don't know. It's that type of game that I'm not super into, I guess. So,
Yeah, I just suggest if you try, go to that Into the Unknown mission. It's
Yeah.
not far into the game at all.
okay.
Like few hours maybe.
Mhm.
And then if you don't like that basic slice, I don't know if you'd like it, because getting to that point, you're doing the ship combat, you're doing the gun combat,
Yeah.
you're doing some stealth, and you're getting something that was alluded to earlier that is kind of like, that's the base core gameplay, I guess.
Okay.
And after that, you can add on all the 100 other fucking game mechanics they have going into it.
I just want to be able
I
to focus
probably
on
won't
the
even touch
things that
them.
I like as well, and
Yeah.
some of the other systems sound convoluted and like really time intensive, and
They are.
I just
Oh,
I just want to know
I'm
that.
not touching the shipbuilding. Yeah,
There
you
we
don't
go.
have to touch that. You get new ships, you can buy them, you can get them for free.
Okay.
You can even get settlements and stuff for free and buy them. Like, none of that stuff is mandatory.
Right. Okay.
It's just extra shit if you want to play SimCity in space.
Yeah. I want to find out what this game's all about. I'm just hearing that the mission structure is good.
Yep.
I haven't heard any real like good personal anecdotes, I guess, about how or why they're good, but
It's hard without spoiling. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's
sure. So yeah, I've just got to go off of what you guys have said so
Mhm.
far and kind of power through a little bit until I get to the meat of it, I guess.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I have Baldur's Gate 3 right now.
Yeah, I think you're good with that.
Yeah. What else
Well,
we got
Travis
on the
plays.
docket?
Well, I don't know if he has one more.
Yeah, let's like, what do we want to pick up on Baldur's Gate 3? Like, Travis, you played it, so you
Yeah,
started
yeah,
playing it,
what
right?
Travis has to
So
say.
what do you got to say about it? I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's tired of hearing me and Jason talk about it. So
it's fucking amazing. Like, I can tell, like, from the get go, it's really, really amazing. The problem is
Mhm.
exactly what you guys talked about with starting Starfield. I got up to level 3. I played a decent bit, about 5
What
or
class?
6 hours or so. So
what race and class?
I'm a human College of Swords bard.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I want to go for that jack of all trades.
Mhm.
So I started there and really enjoying the class early on. So I like what's there. I really take to the combat. I'll jump into that. I really take to the combat. I think that's so far probably my second favorite part of the entire game, second only to the conversation system.
Mhm.
I'm just a sucker for those when they're good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I like go back to the combat. It feels really, really good. Like for strategy type role playing games, especially your isometric top down ones. I've had more experience with more grid based things, grid based games, but I love the extra freedom that this game gives you into kind of doing what you want, and I'm starting to get a taste of it and
Mhm.
discovering some things on my own organically where I know that I need to like sit and watch one of those 30-40 minute videos where it's like the newbie's introduction to of how to like start
Mhm.
playing Baldur's Gate, because there's so much there, and half of me is like, I need to stick with Starfield because this is just too much game. These two games are too meaty to play at the same time.
Yeah, it's
But
going to be really hard.
But the other
juggle.
the other half of it is that like there's legitimate not fear, but there's legitimate anxiety, intimidation that comes from it, because it's like, okay, before I can have fun, I have to go in and learn, and I have to experiment, and I don't know if it's going to work, and like, is that going to be worth my time? So those two things together are kind of like making me say, okay, I got the level 3. I'm still in the Grove, where the druids are in the beginning. So I'm still there.
How many other characters have you picked up?
I have the Githyanki. I have Shadowheart. I have Gale. I have Will. And I'm going to get Karlach. I'm going to get Karlach, and I have
Astarion.
I have Astarion. Yeah.
Good. I just want to make, and that's kind of the thing. Did you get everybody already? Like that's
so it hit me that like you could actually just go beeline through the introductory mission and probably just miss main character straight up.
I did.
Yep.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Gith Yankee, Lizelle or whatever.
Yeah, Lazelle.
I completely missed her, and I knew like after a while, and I purposely not, I purposely chose to not go back, because I want to see what happens, without having that main character in the group.
Mhm.
So far it's there's been nothing broken or anything.
I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Jason's game, because like Lazelle's story is pretty key
It
to
seems
something
pretty important.
specific, for something very specific that is a main piece of the game. So I am really, really interested to see where Jason's goes. Because are you still in Act 1, Jason, or did you move on to Act 2 already?
I think I just got done with Act 2, or I'm very close to the end of it. At least it seems like a very natural end of a chapter.
Interesting. Okay. I'm really interested to see where this is going to go. Because like there's so much that happens
in Act 2.
No, I'm just in general before the end of Act. Which direction did you go in Act 1? Did you go?
I went underground.
Okay. Wow. Okay, we're gonna talk later. Like I want details. Like there are so many things that I'm like, did this happen? Did this happen? Did this happen? Holy shit, did this happen? Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, so the one thing I like, Travis, when I like the idea that you decided to do a bard, for two reasons. Number one, bards are super charismatic, and if the whole idea for you is the conversations, that's exactly where you want to be.
That was the sole purpose of me choosing the class, for sure.
Yeah. The other thing I like about the choice of the bard is that there's not an origin character that you can use in your party that's already a bard. Now you can respec anybody, right? But like that was one of the things about the paladin as well, because there's no paladin from like the origin characters, but you got like a fighter, a warlock, a wizard, a cleric, a druid. Eventually,
Shadowheart's not a paladin.
No, Shadowheart is a cleric. Now
she's a cleric. Gotcha.
She's a cleric, and I'm going. Did you find Withers?
I did find Withers.
Okay, you need like.
That was my first. That was my first like That's a great mission, because for me, who is really going in blind, I played D&D back in 2nd edition, and I haven't played anything, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And that Withers, that chapel, that crypt, is such an amazing first. It's a good introduction to a lot of things, a lot of stuff, a lot of mechanics, combat, traps, perception, things like that. Like it's just a great introduction. It throws so much into small space, and I learned a lot just there. So like that gave me a little bit of confidence that like, okay, if I can for the first 10-20 hours, every single new encounter or every single new place of interest, if I can learn something new, I can feel my confidence building more. I think that this will be a huge contender for me going down the stretch of like Game of the Year and stuff like that, because it's I automatically see and feel the magic automatically.
Who do you use in your party right now?
Right now, my main party is so I have my bard, obviously. And then I have Asterion for the critical hits. I'm still figuring out how like advantage and disadvantage works, because I really want to use all those critical hits, those sneak attacks and stuff. So I'm still figuring that out. So Asterion, Gale, who I feel is like a no-brainer, and Shadowheart.
Okay. I'm going to make the game better for you right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Go to Withers, respec Shadowheart into a Tempest Cleric.
A Tempest Cleric.
Immediately a better game.
Okay.
Because like from the perspective of D&D, if you like look at all the different types of cleric schools there are, that she's a trickster cleric, and they are like the most useless of all of them. Yeah.
So, I was disappointed in Shadowheart, actually. So far.
So I'll give you kind of so clerics get something called oh god, what's it called?
Wrath of the fucking whatever.
I can't. I'm having a brain.
Sounds amazing.
But there's essentially she can channel her divine, power. And for a Tempest cleric, what it does is if you use a thunder or a lightning type attack, as a reaction, you can make that attack do max damage.
Ooh.
And when you get some of the better spells, like that makes a huge difference. And the one that's really big is like level 5 or 6. She'll get not chain lightning. She'll get call lightning, which is a spell that you cast once, and then every turn you can just bring lightning down on fuckers.
Oh,
and
wow.
like you get to do your
becomes like a
divine
mage.
move. Yeah, and you get to do it once to start, but once you get to like level 6, you get to do it twice, and then a short rest brings it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can just strike and say this is going to do max damage, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at right now, just early doors and kind of learning the base mechanics. Like I'm really trying just to heel toe it and not try to learn the entire world all at once. So just kind of get the basics of like the inventory system. I started messing around with like buying and selling things. Like pulling the gold of the merchant into the trade
So you
discussion
don't
is
have
weird.
to do
like
that.
That's weird.
You don't have to do that. So
okay.
If you look at the bottom, are you playing on PlayStation?
Yes.
Okay, if you look at the bottom, it should tell you that if you as you're putting stuff into the sale window, if you hit square, it says balance offer, and it'll just move that much gold into there.
I noticed there's a lot of these little one button little shortcuts throughout the game. That's really helpful.
And you absolutely need them.
Dude.
Like they did a lot of work on like the controller interface, and where it's not perfect. Like there's still a lot of things that I wish that I could figure out with a controller.
Yeah,
but it's so good.
Yeah. I can already see those fucking radial menus are going to get out of control.
They do. Like my main character has like 9 of them. Like when in combat, it's just I pop it up and it's like, okay, where's my shit?
If they end up doing a patch that allows for mouse and keyboard support, because I've already looked into it. I had a mouse and keyboard in my Amazon cart, and I was like, you know what? Before I buy this, let me see if I can use mouse and keyboard. No, it's not. No. It's not available right now on console. If they if they patch that in, if somehow that happens, but you're also talking about like UI upgrades and stuff like that, like for the console, and it would be I think it would be a gargantuan ask for them to add mouse and keyboard support for console. But
see, it shouldn't be, because
you never know.
It's already there.
But I'll buy it. I will buy a mouse and keyboard, and I will play this game solely on mouse and keyboard if they open up the availability.
I'll be honest with you, I play it on PC and I still use a controller.
Really?
Because
interesting.
I've gone back and forth,
Yeah, I like sitting on my couch and playing, and
that's true.
One of the things that that I don't think we've ever talked about this, Jason, but one of the things that really impresses me with the way they do controller support, and like if you're playing on a mouse and keyboard, the UX is completely different.
Yep.
As soon as you pick up a controller, your entire HUD changes on the screen. Like the entire like bar at the bottom that has like all the stuff that you can do, it's gone. And it's like completely clears it out. Yeah, it's all behind the scenes. They honestly, the controller support, again, it's still lacking in a few areas that I wish that I could get.
But it makes
one
some
of them
things like way easier too. You know, there's
like movement is movement is much easier for me.
Movement's great,
but there's all the things that are missing are tiny details that that not everybody would even think of.
They might even be there. Like I'm 70 hours in Divinity 2 and I'm still finding shortcuts.
Oh,
the
really?
Controller.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's
like I'll just accidentally do something like I did not know that would have been helpful fucking 38 hours ago.
So one of the things I don't know if Divinity has like the concept of a reaction, but when
when it like moves
or when they attack you or something like that.
Yeah.
So the one of the things that I'm missing with controller support is when you get to a certain level, especially with Gale, you get counterspell. And if an enemy on the screen tries to cast a spell, Gale can turn around and cast Counterspell as a reaction and negate it 100%, right? The problem is Counterspell is is level 3, and if they cast and you can cast it at a higher level, but you need to know what the level of the spell is that the other person is casting, and you can see it using mouse and keyboard. You can actually go and look at that on the reaction screen with a key controller. I can't figure out how to do it. I can't.
Does
I
the
can't
left stick?
find a
So
way.
if you click the L3, if you click the left stick down, it'll allow you to, like, as long as you can see
Move
it on
around
the
with
map,
a mouse.
you don't. Yeah, you can move around like that. That doesn't work like a mouse whatsoever.
I have not been able to get that to work. No. So, but I've had situations where a dude casts a spell, and I'll cast Counterspell at level 3, and their spell was a level 4, so their spell goes through anyway, and I just wasted a level 3 spell slot. So, there's still some things here and there that could be improved, but overall, like, the controller support is fantastic. Yeah,
Agreed.
I'm so fucking tempted to start it. I can't. I gotta wait until
because I
have
really
to wait.
want to.
Yeah.
I want to play with you guys.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to beat Divinity 2. I'm at the very end of Divinity 2. I should beat it tomorrow, I'm hoping, or Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I saw what you were doing in Divinity
That's awesome.
2.
You haven't talked about Divinity 2 on the show at all, man. Like, barely.
It's because distractions have kind of run pretty long, so it's been like, I'm not going to really talk too much about it. It's awesome. I went from a game I just wanted to dip my toe in to see if I like Baldur's Gate to possibly one of my favorite RPGs of all time. So
wow,
I hear it's great. I hear
it's really really good. So Divinity 2.
Well, I'll tell you something, Jeff. If you like that game,
I've heard
really check out Baldur's Gate 3. I won't talk much more about Baldur's Gate 3 except to mention that I'm pretty deep in Act 3 now, and I'm seeing ramifications of shit that happened in Act 1 happening in Act 3.
I love it.
Like, guys, I'm telling you, this is the spoiler episode we need. Like, all 4 of us need to finish this game and then come together and find out what's different, because if you thought Mass Effect was different, like, this is
I'm sure this
light years beyond. Light years beyond.
Divinity 2, same thing. It's yeah. I have a feeling this is literally what Divinity 3 would have been if they went with a sequel to Divinity, because it has a lot of similarities from videos I've seen to the UI to how things work. Like, it's pretty much it's the same game, just with a D&D license. That's what it looks like.
I'm going to be in when you start playing
$100 million budget.
Definitely a bigger budget. Yes.
When you start playing it, Jeff, I'm going to be very interested in seeing the difference in how I acclimated versus how you acclimated coming off of Original Sin 2.
The experience of it, because
I think that there's going to be some things there that kind of carry over in terms of, like, gameplay functionality and features.
Everything you said regarding, like, what you were kind of anticipating is exactly what I was anticipating going to Divinity 2. Cool. And there's a lot of shit I don't fucking know or whatever, but
the amount of mechanics that they pack into this game, it's crazy.
It's nuts. So, hey, well, I know we're not doing news, but Larian said today that they're working on crossplay. So sweet.
Wow. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I wish that would be sooner. Because I want to play with you guys, but I also don't want to buy it for $70 for PS5.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Yeah. But what else? Any other games that we want to cover?
I wanted to talk about Sea of Stars just real quick.
Sure.
Yeah. How's that?
I mentioned
there's no RPGs this year, man.
I know.
We're none whatsoever.
Dry as all hell. No, this is a turn-based RPG that evokes Chrono Trigger a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, quite a bit. And I mentioned it in our Discord, but this is, I think it's going to be a pretty good game, and it's been wonderful so far. I don't want it to get lost in the mix between Starfield and Spider-Man and everything else. Check it out. Like, it's on Game Pass. It's
and PS Plus.
And PS Plus, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should be able to
on both.
Get into it.
That's a
quick.
first.
But yeah, that is the first.
But yeah, it's a little gem. Like,
how far into it are you?
I'm probably about 10 hours into it, I think.
Okay, that's
something like
more
that.
than me. I'm probably 7, 8 ish around
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been great so far. So, and you know what? It's been wholesome as hell.
It
And
is. Yeah.
just like really lighthearted and uplifting. The characters are not necessarily well written or anything, but they're likable.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like brimming with personality. Not
And-
the main characters so much, but like all the NPCs that you
Yeah.
meet. Well, all the main NPCs, I should say,
Yeah.
not just like the random people walking around town, but
They
yeah,
do a
like
good job of like getting you emotionally invested in like the initial trio of characters.
Sure.
Like,
yeah,
I really enjoyed that. I was like, okay, I like these guys. I like them all. I like what they had to go through, and now that they're adventuring together, it kind of adds a little bit of like camaraderie, a little extra camaraderie and stuff like that with them. I enjoy that.
The first like third party that you bring on board is your childhood friend Garl, who is a cook essentially. But he begs his way to come with you on this adventure. And at first I was like, oh God, this guy can't fight. He can't do magic. What the hell am I doing? But it's gotten to the point now where I would fucking die for Garl.
Yeah,
okay?
Garl's great.
I would leap into the bowels of hell for Garl. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love him so much. So
7-8 hours in, he's by far my favorite character, and I was the same way as you. I was like, oh, he's super corny. He's super corny and jolly. Like as soon as I get a new character, you're out. And no, I don't think I'd replace him at this point unless a character was like really strong in combat. I really dig it. Like art style wise, like Jason said, yeah, it definitely evokes Chrono Trigger in every possible positive way without even like it doesn't feel like it's pandering to Chrono Trigger. It feels more like it's paying respect to the style and the era of games, which is very, very good. That was also one of the reasons why I love Chained Echoes, because Chained Echoes is the same thing. I will touch more on that game in a bit.
Game of the Year discussion?
No. Just in terms of like differentiate, because there's a lot that's similar with these two games in terms of like just revitalizing the 16-bit RPG era. Like these two, like they share that space, so it's hard not to compare and contrast the two games so far.
Sure.
Where it feels like Sea of Stars, and all of it's positive. I don't think it's a to each their own situation, because like Chained Echoes takes the 16-bit RPG and adds so many modern day features and gameplay features into this 16-bit RPG. And I am, unless it's early days with this game as well, so it could completely change. But so far, it's giving me the sense that this is going to be they're gonna be a little bit more simplistic and focus on story, focus on base combat, and not add. Maybe there'll be crafting or cooking later on down the line, but other than that, I'm not feeling like this game is going to try anything new or try anything modern like Echoes did.
Right.
But I don't think that's a problem. I like the fact that it's simple. It's trying to still be a simple 16-bit JRPG or RPG. I like that. So I think there's space for that, and it should continue doing it.
I think they've polished their mechanics to a point where it's better. It's taking those old school mechanics, like active, battling like in Super Mario RPG. But like everybody's got it. Like, if you hit a button at a certain time in your attack, you get a double attack. If you do it during a block, you'll get reduced damage. There's even attacks where like one of the characters has like a boomerang, and she can throw it at one character, but then it keeps bouncing off of her.
It's so good.
And you can keep going it like indefinitely, and it just gets faster and faster and faster. And so it's not just a simple menu-based system. Even though it's turn-based combat, it's very active and really refreshing.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, Chrono Trigger and Mario RPG were two of my favorite RPGs of that era. So it does feel like it's kind of like a melding of the two titles, and it's really good. So I kind of hope it stays simple, because like if I'm going to be playing Sea of Stars and Baldur's Gate at the same time, I really do hope it's kind of parsed down to just like a really tight 30-hour simple to get into RPG. If that's the case, I would be very, very happy with Sea of Stars.
That's from what I read, that's exactly what it is. So
good. And the music's great too. The music's really great.
To be like, oh man, a nice 30 to 40 hour game after this.
Brisk walk.
I might do Spider-Man before Sea of Stars, just to get a 20-hour one in there.
I mean, if you think about what we've been talking about for the past several, like, couple months, like between this and Final Fantasy and Baldur's Gate and Starfield, and it's like, hi, welcome to RPG Central.
Yeah.
I'm out of my wheelhouse, but I'm digging it here.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add. The only thing I played was Baldur's Gate. So we can. Jeff, I think that we wanted to touch base with some possible.
So actually,
questions.
real quick before we do questions,
okay,
have we talked about Armored Core 6 whatsoever? I don't remember.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if we have.
I think we did on. Yeah, we did.
100%
100% last episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We did.
Something new to add.
Just briefly.
But I beat it.
Nice.
It's awesome. Like it's really, really great.
How long was the game? Because if it was less than 20 hours, I might buy it.
No, my first playthrough was about 20 hours actually.
I would probably buy it then, because like I need a little bite-sized game that I can beat within a week. 20 hours is bite-sized now.
It's so good. It's so good. So there are 5 total acts in the game that lead up to the ending. And the combat, it never gets old. In fact, in my mind, it gets better and better and better. I enjoy the mission structure a lot more. Some missions are super quick and stuff like that, but like the really in-depth missions, I really, really dug those as much as I liked. I actually enjoyed the story a little bit more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was just going to be like menu, give me a little exposition. Okay, now let's get back to fighting. I actually kind of enjoyed where the story went, and I thought I was surprised at how good it was versus what my expectations were.
Cool.
So my favorite part of the game was the fact that it was like, try something, it doesn't work, you're getting your ass kicked, build something new, try to and learn from what you were missing in that fight, and try to change your weapons around, change your defenses, and or maybe even try a new set of legs. Just it really, really incorporates a lot of just like researching what you have available and tinkering with the different toys in your toolbox. And that's all great. And I did that so much. And then you get to around Act 3, and then they unlock, I think it's either Act 3. Yeah, it's Act 3. Then they unlock the chain guns.
Oh, geez.
And pretty much that and pretty much that kind of makes the game where you don't ever have to change your build anymore. So that's my only gripe, is that I really did love the experimentation. And then once I got chain guns, it was over. It was done. I didn't need to do anything else to beat the entire game. And I'm talking not just beat the game, I'm talking destroy the game. There was maybe 2 bosses that needed 2 attempts. But other than that, and before that, I had bosses that I had the tutorial boss, I had 10 or 12 attempts. I really, really struggled with learning these bosses and fighting them and getting through them. But yeah, once I got the chain guns, it was all over but the singing. So, nice. But overall, I love the experience. I think I'm going to go through and do another playthrough at some point in time when there's a backlog or something. But yeah, overall, it's great. I can't recommend it enough. If you're not huge on From Software games, or you're not huge on mechs, but you want some good combat, maybe wait for a sale. But I think it's for me, what I like for gaming, it's a full price purchase, and I'm happy with it. So it's been great.
All right. Ringing endorsement.
Hell yeah. All right. So now do we have some emails?
We do. So again, apologies that we couldn't get to this last week since we weren't able to record. So some of these are going to be pre-official release date of Baldur's Gate and Starfield, but we're going to read them anyway. First one comes from Rob Paris.
Hello.
He
What's up,
said
Rob?
he picked up the premium for Starfield. I'm very glad he did. He said game definitely has a few issues, but is super fun thus far. Enjoying being a space vigilante. So thank you, Rob.
Oh, I know what mission he did. I know what mission he did.
He does seem to be enjoying it. He's
good.
pretty vocal about it in the Discords. Evil Pirate John, back in the GLF days. What up, John? He says he just started Sea of Stars and having fun with that, so he had no reason to pay to play Starfield early. And there
we
you
go.
go. It's a good decision.
Good man.
Play
Stick
Chained
with it.
Echoes.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I wish I had that willpower. But no. Seamus on the Twitter.
Shame.
He says, I plan on picking both up. I'll probably play Starfield first as it's on Game Pass. Baldur's Gate 3, PS5 will have to wait until I'm finished with everything else. There's a shit ton of games. It's awesome, but also overwhelming.
Yep.
Keep it up, guys. Fist bump emoji.
I hope
give him
I
a
gave
fist
you
bump.
I hope I gave you a lot of validation in what I was explaining, because I think if you are playing if you're playing and succeeding with playing both Baldur's Gate and Starfield at the same time, you're a mutant. Because like the game both games at the same time is just too much, man. It's too
I
much.
have to try, or else I'm not going to get to Baldur's Gate till like December, or probably not. I'll either get sick of Starfield by the end of September, or we'll see, or just plow through it. I'm going to start it this weekend. I know I am.
Yes.
It's inevitable.
It is.
Greg Little, he says
Hey.
he went with the deluxe edition for Baldur's Gate 3, mainly to support Larian Studios.
Yeah.
But the early access is nice. Won't get to dive in until tomorrow, but I'll be happy to do so. So I guess that was on the Thursday or Friday or Saturday, because I think that was Saturday.
Yeah, we're actually chatting. I'm actually chatting with Greg about possibly setting up a group session with Baldur's Gate. So
I am oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. While you're on the
I'm just
topic.
gonna say I'm such a sucker for early access, like an extra like 10 X amount of dollars. Like
tempting mistress. Is it
Slippery
not?
soap.
Oh my god.
it's so good. And especially if you do it the way Larian did. It's 10 extra bucks for what, 36 hours?
Yes. Yeah.
I like that value. As a
it was
as
more
a
than
video
that, wasn't it?
No,
Wasn't
I think
it September
the
1st?
original. I thought they originally had a thing, then they decided to take it off, and they were just like, "Yeah, just play till whenever." I could be wrong
No.
though.
It was, I mean, yeah, I checked it and I almost pulled the trigger, but
I have it, and I didn't get to use it. So.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because I was like, "Yeah, it's $10 more." Because again, don't forget, like before the hype for Starfield happened, and I was like, "Okay, whatever." I totally planned to play Baldur's Gate 1st, but then I was like, "I'm playing Divinity 2. Do I want to jump right into Baldur's Gate after Divinity 2?" Because they're very similar. And now I'm like, well, I kind of just want to play both.
Yeah.
But
That's the thing. I kind of want to play both.
yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like we're talking about these games that are going to take forever to beat, right? And fucking Mario's coming out soon. Spider-Man's coming out soon, and it's crazy.
Mortal Kombat.
I want to play Mario too, but I'm sorry.
Mario's waiting
my
on me.
mustachioed friend, your ass is waiting until December. So,
I haven't even played Zelda yet.
Yeah, that's right. I think the only game that I am going to make time for no matter what is Spider-Man 2 for the rest of the year. That I like, if I'm still playing Baldur's Gate or Starfield, it'll be Spider-Man 2 and Mortal Kombat. And then everything else, I'm like, I don't think I have a problem waiting. And of course, I say that now, and then 3 weeks from now, it's going to be a different
It's going to be completely different. That's right.
Oh, exactly. I have too many games to play, guys. I can't stick to one. I'm going to try Sea of Stars tonight.
you should. It's great. You're gonna love it.
I'm waiting for that physical version, man.
The steel
Hopefully
case.
it's early. Yeah, it's still. Oh man, that's how they get me.
Keep an eye on Limited Run. Might get something pop up there soon.
Yeah, the early access is my steel. My steel case.
Steel
That's
book?
my steel book. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
makes sense. Greg has a follow up today. He says Baldur's Gate 3. Setting up an entire room with oil and wine barrels, then dropping a brazier on them for big explosions, equaling 8 kills, including a boss. R.I.P. Jor Ragslin. Sure, I guess I'll figure out who that is.
It's Tampax.
Karlak. That's a good reach back. Callback.
That is a good reach back.
Karlach is the best companion. Being Dark Urge makes for some interesting conversation options and a free murder cape.
Hey. I've
Karlach is
accidentally
great.
set off a lot of shit in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
Accidentally dropped it.
I've also set up and set off a lot of shit. So I will say this, like for if you're playing Baldur's Gate, if you find a black powder barrel, just pick it up and put it in your inventory.
Yeah.
And then later on, just throw it at someone.
Does
and
it
then
go
shoot a
against your
fire
encumbrance? So
arrow at
you're
it, and-
carrying a big
does.
fucking
Of course it does.
barrel.
Of
Yeah.
course it does. It's like 20 something pounds, or or kilos, or whatever they use. It's weird. They use meters and then they use pounds. I think
They're called dragon pounds. They're dragon pounds. Yeah.
But yeah, you can throw the barrel at and it'll just put black powder everywhere, and then you shoot like a fire arrow in it, and it'll just explode. It's great.
I did start off. I started off. I equipped the for Gale. I assigned the grease spell, and I used that because everybody gets the basic 1d10 fireball.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I want to like just throw grease all over the place, so I'm just kind of like spraying it around like I'm Ron Jeremy or something like that, and there's just grease everywhere.
Love it.
Yeah, and we're just fireballing everything. It's great.
Sorry, Melissa.
Jason, can I borrow that controller?
Yeah, can I borrow that controller? Yeah. I'm afraid to do that shit in Divinity, man, because I kept setting myself on fire all the time. So I'm like,
I absolutely do that all the time, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, we have a random question here. This is from the Ted F. This comes from Threads.
Hey, Ted.
What's up?
He says, what's our go-to ice cream flavor? Now, we might have answered this way back in the day and early in this, but maybe our picks have changed, because I definitely don't remember yours. I have a feeling Travis is a mint chocolate chip kind of guy.
No, that is the antithesis. I hate mint flavor.
I actually did remember that.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Who wants to go first? Chris?
I don't really have a go-to flavor. Like I like to experiment. So if I actually go to an ice cream place, I'll look around and just look for some. Well, I'll say this: if I find something that has peanut butter in it, I will probably get it. But outside of that, I don't really have a go-to flavor. Like I like to kind of jump around to chocolatey, chocolatey ice creams. Just whatever you can come in it with it.
I respect the experimentation and going for variety. I think that's a really strong way to go. I'm old school. I mean, I will experiment once in a while, but if like number one with a bullet, what I get 80% of the time if I'm getting ice cream, it's butter pecan.
Really?
Done and dusted. Yeah.
My first and foremost is anything peanut butter and chocolate. But you know what? If I'm experimenting, give me strawberry and cornflakes, and I'm a happy guy.
Okay.
Interesting.
Super.
Okay.
Super.
I'm a chocolate and peanut butter guy myself as well. That's usually my go-to. When we were in Massachusetts, though, there was an ice cream place, and it was blueberry lavender, and it was some kind of the best ice cream I've ever had. And there was another ingredient to it. I can't remember what it was.
Was it like custard? Because like sometimes
it was an ice cream. They did have custard there. They have custard, gelato, and ice cream. I think it was just custard and ice cream.
We have a gelato place over here that is just out of fucking sight. It's nuts.
Gelato's pretty good. But yeah, I think 9 times out of 10, I'm going chocolate and peanut butter. And I remember that Cold Stone Creamery when Chris took us there, the first Indus Fest.
Cold Stone's no joke, dude.
Yeah, they closed down here. They were here for a bit, and I think I only went there twice. Not because like I'm a bigger dude now, but I don't eat enough ice cream. I figure I should have during that time, guys. It's like the amount of ice cream I eat, I go to what I like, because it's not often. And I wish now that we don't have Cold Stone anymore that I should have went there more. But R.I.P. At least around here anyway. But chocolate and peanut butter there. Oh, so good.
I haven't seen one around here in a while too.
Yeah,
so.
that would be a shame if they closed down for good, because they were doing the Lord's work over there. Let me tell you,
dude.
Yeah.
Where do you think they would pair up to in Canada when they came to Canada?
Tim Hortons.
Okay, you got it. Here you go. But that's where they were. Some Tim Hortons had a Cold Stone Creamery in them, and I guess they didn't do too well. But
really?
Nope, there's still some around here. Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Good.
Well, that's
nice.
Cool.
But that's it. That's thanks everyone for submitting. Sorry, your questions and comments.
Thanks, guys. Every week.
I've
good
actually
response.
got something from Eddie Kuznagi. So he
I was going to throw that over to you.
Nice.
he recorded something.
Whoa, voicemail.
A voicemail, yeah. Actually,
It's
this
been a
was
hot minute, guys.
in regards to
Where my boy Eddie at?
co-op.
Where
You
my
sure
boy
this wasn't
Eddie?
for
Let me hear
episode
him.
like 360 or something?
Yeah,
Like that?
something like that. It was a little while ago, and yeah, we were having an issue with our email. We've got it sorted out. Thank you, Kill9, for that. Thank you, Glenn. And yeah, let's go ahead and play it.
All right.
Hey yo, what's good with y'all? What's really going on with the Indus crew?
Yeah.
So finally we are here. We are here indeed, and we are well.
We are here.
This is Eddie Kusanagi, you know what I'm saying? It's been a minute. And hope you guys are doing well. I've been great. Grinding Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? Tekken 8 was just announced for January 26th, but who gives a shit, right? But above all else, I've been acting accordingly, listening to you guys every week since your comeback, and you guys are doing a fantastic job. Let's get right to it. Question of the week, co-op games, and all that. Hey, yo, check this out. So there is a game or a series that comes to mind. And I get off thoroughly and enjoy being in the service of others, and have helped plenty in the Souls games, specifically Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Elden Ring, and ultimately what consumed my life was Bloodborne, nearly 1,000 hours. There was a time, you know, years ago, the glorious days of PlayStation Network, where there was, you know, a feature to play multiplayer games, like using a community feature where you could play with randoms on a whim. It was similar to the Looking for Group on Xbox. And they took away that feature, and they never brought it back. Even with the PS5 now, like, it's still gone. And, you know, I think that was, you know, very foolish of them. Using this, I would help ladies and lads, like, you know, level up and, you know, beat the campaign. You know, we would spend days in dungeons and beat them over and over again, trying to get a gem to get a specific build, like, you know, optimal to be, you know, the most powerful for PvP reasons. But that's what comes to mind. You know, I even make secondary characters and keep them at level 120 so that I don't, like, one-shot bosses and ruin the experience, you know, for others who are new to the game. And I never got tired of it. Bloodborne just hit different. They're all great, but Bloodborne is like perfection.
Nice.
Anyways, that's what comes to mind. Keep at the show. Been wonderful listening to you guys again, and it feels like old times from long ago. But that's it for me. Hey, yo, check this out. I tried out that Pillars of Eternity, Jeff, per your advice, and to finalize my decision on getting Baldur's Gate 3. But man, that Pillars of Eternity, man, that game was ass. That game was straight buns. So if Baldur's Gate 3 is exactly that, then never mind.
Yeah, like, don't get Baldur's Gate 3
but
then.
If there's wiggle room to reconsider, I'm all ears. Thank you, gentlemen. Until next time, be well.
God, cheers, man.
Thank you, Eddie.
Now it's like old times. We got a voicemail from Eddie, man.
To clarify, because this happened in the Discord, my first recommendation would be Divinity 2, but that's not on Game Pass. Pillars is on Game Pass, so I was like, give that a shot, but keep in mind, it's not old. What Boulder. It's oldish, and it's a lot of it's not fully voice acted. It's hardcore, and I didn't like it at all. If I base it on Pillars, I wouldn't have gotten Baldur's Gate either, but Divinity 2 made me make that jump. But I don't know if I could be like, hey, dude, spend X amount, like $30 on Divinity 2.
If you can find Divinity 2 for cheap, you know,
maybe,
might be worth it. But yeah, I'll be honest with you, like I'm 100 and something hours into Baldur's Gate, and I put like maybe 5-10 hours into Pillars and just stopped. It just didn't.
No, I didn't get that far in Pillars. Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, I don't think it was 10 hours. I think it was closer to like 5.
What I would tell Eddie to do is just do something as simple as hopping on YouTube and watching some streamer or some influencer that like starts the game and it's like his first hour and a half, 2 hours into the game. Just watch and see if you can get into what's there, because there is. I played through the first PoE in its completion, and just 5 hours into Baldur's Gate 3, I can just be like, yeah, this is
way better.
This game is him. Like, this is it. Like, this is the game. Like, in this genre, like, this is going to be the best for a long time. I could tell immediately. So, yeah, I would just do a deeper dive into some gameplay and see if you'd like it.
And really, the combat. If you don't like turn-based combat, which is my big thing with those type of games, is I don't think you will. I think I'm an anomaly kind of that actually kind of grew to like it. I'm not going to go back and play XCOM or Gears Tactics by any means. But yeah, it's tough. But not Baldur's Gate, Bloodborne and his co-op shit. I've had Eddie.
Hours. Jesus.
There's been some times there where I've thrown up the red flare and been like, Eddie, I need help with this boss in Elden Ring. Or Diablo. There was one Diablo boss I had problems with. And he's always ready to go, man. He ain't lying. He loves to get in there and help you out. It's
yeah, he's right. Like, Bloodborne there's something different about Bloodborne compared to the other From Software experiences. Like, it is it's the same, obviously, like, general gameplay, but it is cut from such a different cloth. Not even because of the fact that it's more of an offensive game. It's just that, like, there's something in the style. There's something in the world, and the action is more fast paced and more aggressive, and it does make it fun versus like turtle shelling with a shield. But I mean, yeah, he's not lying, man. Like, there are people out there I've talked to recently that have played all the Souls games, played Elden Ring, but never touched Bloodborne, and I'm like, are you an insane person? Like, you have to play Bloodborne.
Yeah, Bloodborne was my gateway drug too.
That was your gateway drug, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was so
it's
happy.
Funny
when
too, because
I
I didn't get into Bloodborne either. It wasn't until Elden Ring.
Boo this man.
Honestly, I have definitely considered going back to Bloodborne after beating Elden Ring.
Wait for that 60 frame per second patch. That's
Yeah.
gonna come.
No, wait for Lies of P.
Okay.
That's
I want that.
Yeah.
I want that. I got to beat other games first before Lies of P is soon, too.
Dude, that's one that was like top of my list this year, and it kept like getting delayed or whatever. And now it's like I can't even think about playing that right now.
Play it when I can. Like,
yeah,
it's sad. It's crazy to me that the amount of great games that are out right now that a Souls like, and what I've played of the demo, a top tier Souls like, is actually going to get pushed for me. Like, I think I'm going to play a little bit just for the podcast. Like, that's the one detriment of being on a video game podcast, is that, like, we kind of have to stay on top of it. So I may like put in like 5 hours, 6 hours here or something like that, try to get a little bit further past the demo, and just kind of play it from there. But yeah, man, especially when Spider-Man comes out, it's over.
Yeah, this can't be the RPG podcast for 6 more months. We're gonna have to try to pepper some stuff in there.
Yeah, we gotta. I tried to talk about Armored Core 6. I tried to. Yeah. But you're all right. Keep it quick. Keep it frosty. Let's go.
Good stuff.
All right.
Good game.
Anything else? I feel like that's a show.
We're not doing
show.
news. We're not doing news.
Don't have time for news.
We talked about one news item today already. That's good.
And that's one that's important. That's one we're waiting for. Well,
that's
waiting
right.
for.
Cool. Well, thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please tell a few friends about us. Like, subscribe, and comment, please. It helps us out a lot. Also, check out our Linktree, which is right down below. And we would appreciate any feedback that you may have for us. But until next week, my name is Chris.
I'm Travis.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Jeff, and I don't know direction.
Play your games, and we'll talk to you next week.